What up, y'all? Vita Van Pelt here with Soy Sauce. This is TTE Talk, Sports Talks. You the family. We are here continuing down the divisional talks and breakdowns. I'm gonna say the date because it worked out perfectly for two reasons for us. Today is the 18th of June. We are releasing this when we are recording this. So you might get it a week from now. So two things happen. Usually we start with the AFC, we started with the NFC because we wanted to make sure that Aaron Rodgers was officially a Steeler. Jair Alexander today signed with the Ravens. And we also want to say the date because World War III is about to happen. We going down, y'all.
Man, it's getting close. It's
Yo,
getting
y'all might not
close.
see this video. We going down. You know what I'm saying?
By the time this release, we're gonna be
Yeah.
drafted.
So this is just a timestamp of survival, hopefully. You know what I'm saying? So if you're watching the AFC North, hey, everything's good. At least we made it another couple days. You know what I'm saying?
We made it a
So
few more
yeah.
days if you're watching this.
Yeah. So before we get started to the AFC North, is there anything back from the NFC North? If you're watching this, the NFC North is already out. We got the full video and each link down there for each video individually. Is there anything that you want to go double back on that you was like, maybe I was off, maybe I forgot something that you want to just cover about the NFC North?
Probably a little hard on the Bears.
I I I don't. I think it sounds like that we are, but we always try to level off expectations for early coaches. Like
Yeah.
we really do. I don't think there's been one guy who's been a first year coach. We've been like, hey, double down all your chips because we know how the game goes. You know what I'm saying? Like we know when that changes. I know we were higher on like Steichen and Ganning coming out, and I still feel like overall they've done good for what they've done. But you know what I'm saying? I feel like if you are a Bears fan, if you are looking for like, we need somebody to give us all the hope in the world. You don't want a Panther and an Eagles fan telling you that, your
Show ain't
ceiling is
us.
kind of you
Show
know what I'm
ain't
saying?
us.
Yeah, it's not us, you know what I'm saying? Like we're not gonna be the guy who gives you that. But yeah, so it did feel like he was banging on the Bears, and it was like, no, that's not the case, y'all. We temper expectations for first year coaches. We tried to, everybody there's the Bears joke that goes around of like they're 3-time offseason champs and this and that. So and I'm like, yeah, y'all had good offseason, but it's like we know once you get there, certain things have to work in place. So yeah, I
Yeah.
felt that. I did go back and kind of double check. The Detroit Lions again. I felt like I felt like I went lower than where the consensus is with the Lions. I
Hmm.
feel like a lot of people still feel like they're gonna kind of walk away with this division. And I think I'm like, I don't think y'all will. I mean, granted, last year's division was tight. We all, I guess, aren't expecting them to do, 15, 14, 13 wins. So, I kind of came down closer to 9 or 10 just because of competition.
Yeah.
And, I feel like a lot of people still think this is like a 12, 13 win plus team. And
Yeah, I agree.
and
I
I
mean,
do.
I don't think we can judge them next year based on what they could have been last year, right? Because we're always gonna
Yeah.
look at last year and be like, man, if their defense was healthy, you
Yeah.
never know. So I don't think we can judge them based on where they are today from where
Yeah.
they could have been and should have been last year had they been healthy. I still think they would
I
have
think,
lost the way they did if they were
I
healthy.
think, so I don't want to say that because like Jared did have the bad game early in the year versus the Houston and they won.
Hmm.
And he had it in the playoffs. Like I don't like. I think the team is. I do think the Lions have one of the higher floors in the NFL. Like the team is almost built to not be bad.
Yeah,
But I don't. Again, like I do feel like losing coordinators in Ben and Aaron might cost them a game or two just because of changes going on. So I
I
feel like
agree.
it will, and it probably could cost them a game or two down the line just for just and Ragnow. You know what I'm saying? Like I did see a Lions fan try to say, what happened to the last team that lost both coordinators in the Hall of Fame center? They won the Super Bowl, and who was that? And I said, don't do that, brother. I said, don't do that, brother.
We was in the Super Bowl, like
Yeah, yeah. I said, don't do that, brother. Hey, so I saw that, and then I realized, hey, there is another side to this that there's people
that's
who just like, yo, they just don't
crazy.
yeah, they just don't expect any drop off. And I'm like, the Eagles was different because, even though they lost both coordinators, we knew the people they replaced them with were clear upgrades. Like we knew what a Kellen was. We knew what a Vic was. You know what I'm saying? So we knew, hey, they're taking a step up from there. Then they added Saquon. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I said, hey man, pump your brakes on that one, bro. I said, pump your brakes on that one.
Hey,
So again,
Detroit
I,
fan,
I
if you
think,
end up watching this,
yeah.
I'm sorry. It just don't work that way. at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I
Lightning
saw
ain't
that.
gonna
I said,
strike
oh,
twice.
yeah. I said, oh shoot. So yeah, I do feel again. I do think the coordinator changes for Detroit is going to drop them to the mean a little bit. But besides that, man, seen a report today. Um, Again, it was just a scroll by report. I kept scrolling by it because I was just like, I don't think they really gonna do it. But I guess they aren't like too intrigued with signing LaFleur and the GM to an extension. Like usually, I
What?
guess they were trying to. Yeah, it sounds like they're kind of up to this. Like, brother, we need some more.
That's why, especially it's because I look at what Mike McCarthy left behind, right? Like, yeah, cool, you got a Super Bowl, but I don't think McCarthy coached himself into that Super Bowl. I think he was given a roster
Yeah,
that put him
team was
there.
fired,
All he had to
and
do
Aaron
was
was
not mess it
fired.
up. Yeah, all
Yeah, that team was
by the time
fired.
he
Aaron
got
was
Aaron,
fired.
by the time he got an Aaron that came out behind Brett Favre, he was
Sam
already
Shields
getting
was my
ready to
dude
be
on that team.
a Hall of
Yeah,
Fame
Sam.
dude. Like,
Yeah, like Sam Shields was one of my dudes on there, and then like it was crazy. Like they hooped. I don't want to take it from, but you're right. I think that was one of the things, and that was one of our knocks on McCarthy is we felt that you're a good coach, but you had a team that did more lifting for you because you were a good coach, and they were able to kind of cover ground on the field themselves. Like, that was a good team, man. So yeah, I was just kind of shocked. I said we'll see because I was like, yo, they were like, yo, they're just not in no rush for extension talks with Lafleur. I said, let that man hit the open market if you want to.
oh
I
man,
said, yeah, yeah. I
he
said,
gonna.
let him hit the open market if he want to. He's gonna cause some people to get to lose their job.
I mean, he might
So
be. He's not gonna do what Vrabel did and take a year off. Lafleur hits the
nah,
open market, he'll be either a head coach or an offensive coordinator ASAP.
yeah. So he's getting if Lafleur hits the open market, somebody is getting fired about him.
Yeah.
Somebody is
And it
genuinely
might be
going to
somebody.
lose
It
their
might
job.
be the Bears. The Bears might gonna be like, you
Yeah,
know what,
somebody,
you're
yeah,
fired.
somebody's getting fired behind a. Hey, hey, bro, good looking out. You definitely gonna get your contract payout, but we got to bring in Lafleur. Somebody's losing a job if that man hits the open market. So
Hey,
but
I would love to see Lafleur in Dallas,
that oh Jesus. Oh man.
and that's coming from an Eagles
Wow.
fan in the NFC. You see Lafleur in Dallas? Oh man,
A down year from Schottenheimer and a LaFleur hits the market and you telling me Jerry done got yeah, that'd be wild. That'd be wild.
Jerry calling
Yeah, that
Dion to say, "Hey Dion, we're not calling to hire you. We're calling you to tell you that we're firing Schottenheimer and we're gonna hire Lafleur."
yeah, that's wild. We'll put that on the board. We'll pin that for NFC East video, which should be next week. The next time after this, we'll be going to the NFC East. So yeah, we'll be pushing the 2026 Matt LaFleur to the Dallas Cowboys agenda. That's what
Look,
we'll be
hey,
pushing.
by the time
Yeah.
y'all see this, OKC is either the champions
Yeah.
or they choked. But with
Yeah.
Halliburton hurt, they might gonna be champions tomorrow.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right. Ready to get into it to the AFC North, man. We're going up
Yes,
to
sir.
Doug's Row, Death Row in the AFC North. Um, Truly one of the most traditional legendary divisions in the NFL, man. So much going on within this division. I feel like it is just funny. It's just funny. So let's give a recap. Last year, Baltimore Ravens 12-5, Pittsburgh Steelers 10-7, getting over 900, over 500 like always. Cincinnati Bengals 9-8, and the Cleveland Browns 3-14. When you look back on last year's AFC North, is there anything that you were right or wrong about on any team?
I think we were right about Baltimore. I think we missed on Cincinnati. Not a big miss either. Um,
Yeah, Cincinnati second.
yeah, not a big miss either. And I think a lot of that
Yeah.
had to do with health, right? Missing T Higgins a good portion of the year. Joey B was fighting some. I mean, he's been fighting his whole damn career since
And
he's
a
been there.
bad early start, like they always do. These fools
Yeah,
was 1-3 when they came to Carolina. I think 1-3, 1-4 when they came to Carolina.
yeah,
So
man.
yeah,
But
the slow starts need to stop.
I think overall we were right. The Ravens probably dropped a win or two that we probably had them taking, but I think they made it up elsewhere. I think we had them around 12, 13 wins as a ceiling. Um, Overall though, man, I think we were pretty spot on. I think the Browns
Yeah,
performed kind of how we expected them to. Y'all can go back and watch the videos from last year. It's dated to see the preseason predictions
I don't.
for them, but I think we was pretty on point
Yeah,
with this.
yeah. I don't think none of us. I don't know. I don't feel like we had the Browns too high up, but
Nah,
I don't think we had them 3 wins either. You know,
nah.
like I don't. Yeah, trying to remember. But Doug's Row, Death Row over here, man, in the AFC North. Yeah, I think the thing that's kind of be like the consistent of the AFC North is Lamar and Harbaugh are going to win 11, 12 plus, and Tomlin is not going to go under 500. And then it's just Cincinnati, like this year, very slow start, but they've been slow starts under Taylor, and that's what kept them out of the playoffs this year. And then the Browns, we kind of saw like once the injury started to happen, we were like they just can't make up for it. Even though I feel like their roster it's overall pretty good. Jerry Judy and them hooped. You know what I'm saying? We've been
Yeah.
trying to push the Jerry Judy agenda. So I feel like they hooped. So that was in itself kind of like the overview of it. I do like the direction of Cleveland. I know we're gonna talk about them first. But I think the wild card in all this is Cincinnati because we Cincinnati got held to such high esteem. Because remember them AFC Championship trips and all that. Them fools, I think they only won 10 games one time. Like
Hmm.
trying to think back real quick, and they were wild card teams. And that defense, like the way that defense performed in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl was elite level defensive play.
They played great.
And like yeah, and Joey B and them showed up in the critical moments, but that defense during those playoff runs in the back year was like they was killing it. And now we'll talk about it, but we're not getting there. So like they're the wild card in it because the Ravens and Steelers have still overall like during the regular season been the consistent better teams, but it's just like don't let the Bengals in. Don't let the Bengals in, and more than anything, now they're just starting to hold themselves back. So
Crazy enough to say,
yeah,
man. I think if the Bengals got in there, they'd have probably been the ones to beat either the Bills or KC early on.
no. So they'll always give KC problems because personnel and what they do
Hmm.
challenges them. But defensively, I mean Trey and the boys up front and Logan always gonna do their thing. But Cincinnati and whatever Zach Taylor does, always they just seem to be like if I was like, hey, there's a team Buffalo should never want to play in a big moment, it's Cincinnati.
Hmm.
And it just feels like Cincinnati just has they're just a bad matchup for the top tier teams.
Yeah. Since
Like
Cincinnati
they
for the
really
AFC
yeah,
probably would have been what the Rams were in the NFC, right? Going into
yeah,
the nobody expected the Rams to have the kind of year they had with all the injuries, with Aaron Donald
yeah, and the
leaving,
slow
with
start early for them too.
yeah, and then for them to blow
That
up in
too.
towards the end of the season, and then they were pretty much a game away from the Super Bowl because I think they would have beat
Yeah,
Washington if they won against Philly.
yeah, that said they're Cincinnati is they're a bad matchup. Like they really do figure it out down the line and become a bad matchup. Like you just like I don't want to play them, dude. So all right, let's get into it with the Cleveland Browns, 3-14. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, literally blanking on the GM's name right now. I think they both just signed like an extension last year for like another 6-year deal. So the highlight of this right there, go ahead and scroll down, News. Let's go ahead and get this in and out the way. Never in our life have we seen a fifth round pick get more publicity than the number one overall pick in the NFL draft. And we tried to avoid some of this stuff because we've already planted our flag on who and how we view Sanders and kind of his whole situation. So I will re-clear that up now before we get into breaking down the team. Shadur Sanders this year was QB1 to me going into the draft. It was not no, he's clearly the best. Him and Cam Ward was 1 and 2. If you had Cam 1, was not no fault, but Shadur was no lower than 2. I think he probably one of the better passers, not, athletic or none of that, like past guys we've seen. But I do think the brother has the game from the neck up, and I do think he throws a really good football. For him to fall to the fifth, and then even tougher was like being picked after Dylan, which isn't a bad thing. But the thing that I feel like is gonna happen with them is when roster cuts happen, unless they really do believe in like Flacco or Kenny, moving them into like we can win now with those guys and keep one of these two, Shadur or Dillon is gonna have to get cut for roster purposes. And I think whichever one of them do, will go to another team. They're not making it
Oh
back to the
yeah,
practice squad. So
yeah.
that's the issue that I think is going on with Cleveland is if Gabriel or Shadur, whichever one they end up, if they have to, letting one go, they're going to another team. They're not making it back to their practice squad unless they
I
really
think
be
I
like,
think
you know
if
what,
Gabriel
Kenny,
gets cut, he might end up in Miami.
I'm saying like both of them are dudes who you be like, yeah, they'll still make another team. Like they're not good. I don't see either one of them. Not just Shadur. I don't see Dylan clearing waivers either and being like, yeah, I can make it back to the Browns practice squad. I don't think either one of them's gonna do it.
Yeah, somebody gonna pick him up quick, especially if it's Shadur. If Shadur doesn't make it out of this, out of the preseason and ends up getting cut for whatever reason, you're gonna see him end up on the roster, on a roster somewhere. And I mean, we can sit here and speculate where it's gonna be. It might be Dallas, it might be, Detroit, it might be Pittsburgh. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like you said, man, they'll definitely end up on the roster ASAP.
Yeah. So I just think that's the big that's the tough decision for them. Is I don't think they can keep all four quarterbacks like after the first round of cuts. I think they will have to cut one down. And I just don't think either one of them is gonna make it back. So like I would prefer Shadur to stay in Cleveland only because like I think he does fit well with what Stefanski kind of likes to do. So I do like that, but again, it's just tough for me to see either one of them kind of, making it back after that first round of cuts or whenever one of them does have to be made a decision on.
Yeah,
Because again, I don't.
I think Flacco gets cut, and then we'll end up seeing one of the rookies staying in that QB3 spot. Kenny Pickett, you traded for him. You sent away
Yeah,
draft capital. You're gonna keep him to see what you got. He's pretty much QB1 at this point.
and I believe that too. I believe Kenny Stan. I think they keep Joe for comfort, just in case.
Yeah.
Which might not be a good thing because if Kenny starts the trip, that fan base is gonna be Joe, 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 Joe. They're gonna be bring Joe. So
I
I'm
think at some point too, the Browns got to sit back and say, all right, man, what are we doing? Where are we? Are we in a spot to be able to win now? Looking at the Ravens, looking at the Steelers, looking at the Bengals, and say, can we get into the playoffs somewhere? This division, we every year we go down the breakdowns, they split. They pretty much split across the board this year. I don't think anyone swept. Probably have to go back and look at that, but I don't see a world where the Browns can confidently step back and say we're gonna compete for a playoff spot right here. So they're gonna have to make a decision, man. Like if
and they
that's
do
if
have.
that's the spot you're in, why are you keeping Joe Flacco?
Remember, they got Jacksonville's first next year.
Yeah, Jacksonville ain't
So
looking good either. We're gonna get there
and
eventually, but
they're in the position to, if things go bad, in a quarterback market next year. So they have that ability. Um, I I'm with you. I don't think they're going in it looking to like, hey, we're just aiming towards a rebuild. I think they are trying to aim to win and compete. Like I
mm,
do believe that. But again, I think having those picks in their back pocket, makes it very flexible to be like, hey, you know what? Let's see what we got. Let's go forward. So, uh, any let's talk Kevin Stefanski. Let's talk Kevin. Kevin, Coach of the Year. Kevin's done good things. I feel like the general messes with, and that is Kevin Stefanski got an extension, so it seems like the people of Cleveland and ownership like him and what he does. Where are we at on Kevin, man?
Kevin Stefanski. I don't know, man.
Kevin,
I think I think
Kevin.
Kevin's expendable. He's one of those expendable coaches, to be honest with you. He's holding a spot right now. He's gonna be there for the time being. But I think once Cleveland's able to see somebody somewhere pop up, they're gonna hop on it and be like, you know what, Kevin, we're gonna start the shift somewhere else. I don't think he's the guy that you hire to launch anything with a new team, right? To rebuild or to give you some sort of hope into something different. I don't think he's that guy. He's a great coordinator. Head
I
coach
I'm
now.
starting to I'm starting to lean that way a little bit more, but I'm trying to also be mindful that, I think we were all not expecting Watson to come and show up the way that he did. And I think the brother's just been really trying to figure that out ever since. So that's why like I do hope if this year does go quote unquote bad, and they find themselves in that position that they give him the opportunity to, invest into another quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I know people can critique, even myself, for them taking Dylan and Shadur. But after that, man, being able to pick up Judkins and Mason Graham, you know what I'm saying? I felt like the draft was really, really good.
Their draft went
So
great.
I'm not mad about that. I feel like, the way the team is set up, we'll come back, not to fast forward and overlook their season like this isn't important, but we'll come back and be like, hey, Cleveland, they kind of got it good, ready to go. So like on defense, you see Miles, Collins, Graham, Schwartzinger, guy who I'm not gonna say I was super high on coming out of college, but I liked him. I said, okay, I can see where they're going with that. Ward, Pitt, Emerson, Newsom, dudes who I liked in the secondary, dudes who I thought were good. So just kind of, I think again, I don't want to say compared to that. I think the roster and the team is overall like a good team. Like it shouldn't just be like, no, this team is strapped and just bad. I just do think the concerns of like quarterback play, that division, and just, hopefully not catching themselves behind the 8 ball early doesn't kind of fast forward. What maybe it would help to fast forward, like, you know what, the heck with it. We got a pick. We'll keep the team set up and, try to then insert young quarterback. But again, I'm also on the back line, like, man, I hope one of even if it's not Shadur, I still like Dylan too. Like, I hope one of these dudes work out. So,
Yeah,
I'm not against Dylan.
I like Dylan. I mean, his biggest knock is always going to be his size. He's like what
Yeah.
5'10", 5'10", 5'11", 5'10".
Dylan gonna be this generation's Chase Daniel.
Damn, I don't like Chase Daniels.
Yeah, but Chase was able to play a long time, make a lot of money, and play a couple games and kept his and stayed around. So I got Dylan being this generation's Chase. Chase hooped at Mizzou. Chase hooped. So he did that. Uh Key players. Um to me, players on player watch or key players. Man, I feel like the world has kind of gone quiet on Denzel Ward.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And I just want to take the opportunity to say Denzel Ward, I still see you play it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Denzel
that's
Ward's still
all.
nice. I don't know why he
Yeah,
get overlooked like
yeah.
that.
Obviously the biggest highlight, Mason Graham. I feel like a lot of people got player fatigue with him. During the draft process, some people didn't, quote unquote, didn't like his size. You just see what he does, and he hoops, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like sometimes I know we be looking for these prototype sides and whatever. Mason Graham hoops, man. Like that brother absolutely hoops. So yeah, I'm on the Mason Graham should be beside Garrett. I don't want, man, the D tackles interior is a lot of great ones, so I don't want to say all pro, but I think it'd be much quicker. We'll be like, yo, Mason is one of those ones, especially being able to line up with Garrett around him. So that should help out a lot. And Quinshawn Judkins, I think should be in a position to really do damage this year for Cleveland. So those are the three guys. Like I said, again, just acknowledging Denzel and the two rookies, Graham and Judkins. Love them both, and I think both of them are going to hoop this year immediately.
Um,
Oh yeah, Harold Fannin Jr., who is actually going to be the next David Njoku. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, oh yeah.
uh, man, I agree with the Quinshawn Judkins. I think he jumps out pretty quickly to be probably one of their workhorses. Jerome Ford, he is what he is. He's kind of more of a, what do you call it?
Dylan Sampson's going to steal some third down reps for sure.
I mean, with Jerome Ford's injury history, I kind of look at him in the same vein that I look at Nick Chubb. He's a good for now, but by halfway through the season, you'll probably see Quinshawn Judkins and Dylan Sampson be 1 and 2. Jerry Judy's another guy I'm looking at. He hooped last year. I think he comes out and makes a statement this year. He had a hell of a year last year with two or three different quarterbacks.
He killed it.
He did his thing. And then the other one,
I was barely holding on to my stock. I ain't have as much as I once did, but I was holding on.
I agree with Mason Graham. Mason Graham's probably my third guy. Like you said, man, he's not going to give you the prototypical size speed. But when you look at production and you look at the just watch the tape. You know what I mean? It's what we always talk about in the preseason before they go into the draft. Don't make it hard, man. Like, watch the film. Don't get hypnotized by the combine stuff, the measures. Like, don't get hypnotized by that. Go back, watch the film, make a decision based off of that.
Yep.
And I think when they made that trade, they got BPA and he fell in their lap the way he did, and for them to still be able to go back and make a move, man, they had a hell of a draft.
Yeah. But again, I like I'm not looking at the Browns roster and be like, dang, man, y'all kind of got nothing. Like, y'all got players, and I feel like y'all got a solid team. You know, again, it's solid team. It's just the whole quarterback question of what's gonna happen and how they're gonna produce and what is that gonna do to them. So
yeah, I look at this team and I say the difference between them.
I will say this shit.
The difference between them and a good team like the Steelers is coaching. That's why I'm always gonna come back to Stefanski. If you put Stefanski on the Steelers and you put Mike Tomlin on the Browns, I think he figures out a way to go 500. He just figures it out. I don't know how he does it, but it just comes down to coaching. You got the personnel. Now, do you have the coaching to match that personnel to put them in a position to win? I don't think the Browns do.
All right, let's move on and get us a floor and a ceiling for the Cleveland Browns. Opening up week 1 versus the Bengals. Probably the best. Yeah, we should, you know what I'm saying? They probably hyped up. But I'm not going to give them that one. I'm not going to give them that one. I'm giving that to, even though it is a home game, I'm actually going to give the Bengals the broom on them this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Baltimore
Thank you.
the broom on them this year.
Yeah. I think they only split with Pittsburgh.
Cool, I'll take that. So right now they're 1-5 in the division.
Yeah, and it's Pittsburgh.
They start 0-2 versus Green Bay at home. All right, so up to the bye week, how many wins do they got? Up to the bye week, so how many wins do they got? 2. Is there a possible?
No. I mean, if we want to be optimistic, right, we can give them 3. They'll find wherever that third one is.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go 3 up to the bye week. Right now, I'm looking at 3.
It might be Minnesota. That's on the neutral ground. It's gonna be overseas.
Yeah, I don't want to say like this defense can steal a game or two. So you know what I'm saying. I think they are set up to do that. Yeah. So up to the bye week, let's say 3. Let's say
3 and 5.
Yeah. Let's say let's go 3 and 5. I'll give them. Oh, they're at the Jets after the bye week though. Out of the bye week.
The Jets, that's Justin Fields.
Yeah, Fields.
And they might be looking to trade Breece Hall.
I think that's going to set the tempo for everything to me, is if I would take them over the Jets after a bye week, though.
I mean, there's coaches and there's teams that we give the benefit of the doubt coming out of the bye week. The Browns are not that team that we give the benefit of the doubt coming out of the bye week.
Especially but I really like even though I like the Jets O-line, I like the Browns D-line matchup.
I think Justin Fields is going to be different in that game.
I'll put it on a possible, but I'm still leaning the Jets. So after that, they're 3, possibly 4, 5, 6. I got a 7 ceiling, bro.
I'm cool with a 7 ceiling.
Closer to 5. I sound so bad.
I mean, not really. 7 and 10 ceiling. Oh, I mean, when you say it's a ceiling, yeah. But I mean,
if they finish 7 and 10, I'll be like, cool, that's like good stuff. But then you trying to think about like the picks and the rebuild.
Yeah.
Again, that's why I don't like throwing away a season when I feel like you do have a good team, and I'm just trying to question where quarterback play and coaching can get you.
And then
But I feel like
giving the quarter, like you said,
yeah, but I
giving
feel
the
like
quarterback
questioning that.
situation.
Yeah, I feel like questioning that and saying 7 is like, I feel like that should be a compliment. Be like, yo, the most important
Yeah, that's a
part
win.
I'm having issues with, but I still think you could get 7. Is this a 500 win team?
No.
No. So
No.
you know what? I'm cool with a 4 floor, 3 floor. Because if they went 3, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go 3 floor, 7 ceiling.
Give them the number 1 pick next year.
All right. Arch Manning. Nah, this
Damn.
he looks like a Garrett Nussmeyer guy. Looks like a Kevin Stefanski looks like a Garrett Nussmeyer guy.
That's a Kevin Stefanski.
Yeah.
If they win 3 games, Stefanski's not gonna make it into that pick.
Yeah.
And I think they find a way to get off of Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. But that's why I said, I mean, they got the extension, but again, they ain't got to keep him. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go 3 floor, 7 ceiling. I don't.
Hey, especially if they find a way to nullify that guaranteed money because of the circumstances of him tearing his Achilles for the second time. He was doing something non-sports related. He was out partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they can find a way to nullify that guaranteed money, he's up out of there.
Yeah. It had to be the Browns, man. I feel bad for him because everybody who could have got Deshaun was all in on Deshaun on trying to get him. And none of us expected that brother to come back and to go through all this and to be that bad. You know what I'm saying? So
Man,
that hurts. It had to be the Browns. It had to be the Browns.
I think
Sorry,
any other team Deshaun Watson goes to, I think he performs. All of this masseuse stuff is behind him. Any other team.
Man, I told you he only went to he had that no trades clause. I told you he only went to Cleveland because they gave him the fully guaranteed.
$650.
Yeah. So that's it for the Cleveland Browns. Not to bang on y'all hood, but I don't think it's a bad team. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like the most important part compared to the others right now. Let's keep it moving to the God, boy. If you're telling me as a Panther fan, boy, look, if it's one thing I ain't got to worry about, it's my owner spending that money. Because these fools up in Cincinnati and their owner is looking for each and every way not to break that bread. I wish the league would go no salary cap. I know my dog will run it up, but it'd be so funny how they talk about the Bengals owners because they be like, they're the poorest owners in the NFL. Like, they give them here, damn, take it energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just be like, oh, man.
They
Like,
said,
God,
hey, you want how much, Jamar? But you also want T. Higgins to stay? Man, here. Shut up.
I feel like when the Bengals owner pulls up to a party, he be like, hey, me. The Bengals owner is me. Hey, Soy Deuce, one of y'all got me on this one. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got me on the front cut. Hey,
it's $20 to get in. Hey, who got Vita, man?
Cover me, man. Cover me. I'm the Bengals owner. Hey, cover me real quick, man. You got me? Here, damn, man. Here, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, and the here, bro, is a franchise tag that they about to try to use on Hendrickson. Here,
Yeah.
man. Take your $60 million this year.
The Bengals, to me, did overall what I felt like they should have as a team. Pay T, pay Jamar, pay Joe, and then pay Trey. Because you already did the double franchise tag on Jesse Page. DJ Reader already walked out the door. So we was all like, bro, just pay Trey. Why are you fighting it? But the fact that you took so long to pay T, end up costing you some more money. The fact that Jamar waited, did what he did, because we all knew what Jamar was going to make.
Oh, he
so
was
like, okay,
going to
cool.
do that. You should have just stayed
so
ahead of it.
We knew he was going to be right up there at the top. But the fact that you took so long to pay T, you thought you would have been like, no, we're going to get done with Trey right now. And then you didn't. I did hear that contract talks have started again. I think they're hopefully finding the error in whatever ways they're going with, because it just seems to be compiling upon themselves. And then you find a way for your
draft pick won't sign.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart won't sign because everything I'm hearing is you're trying to turn his guarantees into incentives. And that was supposed to be the whole reason why the rookie scale was put in place, was to avoid any of that. You get picked in a place, you can only make so much money. This is your cap. There you're gonna get it. And the fact that you're trying to find a way to change that, bro, it is boy. Look, I'm
Y'all
telling you,
deserve to lose that pick.
yeah,
I hope
like
he
that.
doesn't sign and he just re-enters the draft next year. Like,
Yeah, but I don't want. But again, you don't want to take a year off of him. You don't want to. He need bread. I don't think he's sitting on this stuff. He need bread. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to assume what's gonna happen with him, but he need his bread. And I think they said if he do have to re-enter, that literally the Bengals couldn't draft him again if they wanted to,
mm-hmm.
which would then change the landscape of some things.
Bengals just
Again,
continuing to shoot themselves in the foot, man. They could have signed T, he went off. They could have signed Jamar early, he went off. They could have signed Trey Hendrickson 2 franchise tags ago, but instead he again bet on himself, led the league in sacks the last 2 years. Now you standing there looking dumb like, well, now I gotta pay you today's price, not 2 years ago's price. Because if you would have paid 2 years ago's price, you would have been straight.
Going to continue to say it. If there's somebody on your roster who you know is a part of your team for the long haul, pay them early. Pay them early and don't play the contract game. Pay them early. Pay a year early. Pay a year and a half early. Whatever you got to do to lock them in. Because the more you wait, the longer, the worse it's going to get. Not for a fringe player. If he's one of your 5 best players on the roster and you want him around, you just pay him. You just pay him and get it out the way. Don't wait.
Howie Roseman
Outside of
paid
that,
Devontae Smith before they reset the wide receiver market. And Devontae Smith was happy to take it. Bet I'm wide receiver 2. You gonna pay me like today's wide receiver 1? Okay. Yeah.
Exactly. Just pay early, man. Pay early and get out the way. Outside of that, I downplayed Joe Mixon leaving the Bengals, and I still like Chase Brown. I kind of maybe I'm not off the Zach Moss thing, and it's good to see P-Ron back, but I do feel like them running the ball should help this offense out. We know what Joe Jamar and T do. I like the Andre guy. He's cool. Gasecki to me is just around for vibes. I like the current state of like what Mims could be and with that O line. So like again, like offensively, you cool. We all just know it's that other side of the ball. It's defense and what they're gonna be able to do.
I think on paper, offensive line looks better, but for some reason, this fool Joe Flacco keep getting beat up every year. So to me, I think they got to prove it next year. Next year's a prove it year to see what that continuity of that O line looks like. Because it's like, man, y'all still got to protect him. Y'all look good on paper. Hypothetically speaking, y'all should be protecting him. For some reason, Joe's still getting jacked up.
Yeah. Now defensively, some players that I think if they are in place and they hoop, it should make all of this better. 1, your first round pick, Shamar Stewart. 2, Chris Jenkins Jr., Miles Murphy, Barrett Carter, not Cam Taylor Britt, Jordan Battle. Those are guys who I like. Even Josh Newton, who I like in the draft process last year. Those are guys who I'm like, yo, if y'all can step up and y'all can play vital roles or even push in the starter roles and kind of move that, like elevate where this defense is at, then I think it can help a lot. Demetrius Knight, South Carolina dude, I like him, but I felt like Carter had a skill set that could work in there too. Again, especially up front, two guys who I really like. Shamar Stewart, I see what people are doing, but again, I think he needs time. Shamar, Chris Jenkins, and Miles Murphy. If them 3 dudes can like really work into the rotation and give them a really good front to run with Hendrickson, because God, I can't remember who just left. I'm losing his name right now on the opposite side. Not Trey. Oh, why am I missing his name? The DN that just left. Would like just replace him. You don't have to play, but like
Logan Wilson.
Oh no, Logan linebacker. God, why am I missing his name?
Oh wait, who did it last year?
Just retired this offseason, and I'm blanking on his name. Nah. Okay, it'll come back. Shamar, Miles Murphy, Chris Jenkins Jr. Because I like Miles Murphy, Chris Jenkins in the draft process. I just want them to build depth and effectiveness deep so that it helps this D line work. and I think that'll help everything out. And in the secondary, again, I like Josh Newton and Jordan Battle. I want to see them step up and do good things.
Sam Hubbard.
Sam Hubbard, yep.
Key players for me is that whole O line. Everyone on the O line. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. That's 1, 2, and then my third, I guess you could say, is probably going to be Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown is going to set the tone for this team next year. And like you said, running the ball. Defensively, we know their holes. We know what that's going to be like. Regardless of if they re-sign Trey Hendrickson and if Shamar ends up signing that contract, the defense is what it is, right? I think we know their floor. We know their ceiling. But I'd like to see Chase Brown have a great year this year. I think last year he had a great year. He was able to get out there and make a difference for them later in the season once he was able to get established. Zach Moss is cool as a change-up back, but I think Chase Brown should be able to carry the load this year.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, that O-line and Chase Brown are going to be my 1, 2s, and 3s. Protect Burrow. Protect Burrow and run the ball. Protect Burrow, run the ball. We know what Jamar Chase is going to give you. We know what T. Higgins is going to give you. They cannot give you that unless Joe is clean. Keep Joe clean. Please don't let Jake Browning come into the game at any point for any reason other than y'all being up 7 touchdowns and him coming in to play the fourth quarter as garbage time.
I do want to state on the O-line, I like the tackles. I know I wasn't like big Orlando Brown Jr. guy, but I like the tackle situation. That's what I like. The interior, for me, still up, but I just like the guys that play tackles.
Cool.
All right.
I think they take the leap though, and they'll finish number 2. We'll obviously get to that a little bit more in detail when we get to the schedule and give them the floor and the ceiling. But I think they make the leap and they take the number 2 spot this year.
All right. Let's go ahead and get into a floor and the ceiling for Cincinnati Bengals. Ooh, they opened up week 1. We gave that to them because Cleveland didn't. Week 2, no slow start for them this year. Nope. 2-0, baby. No slow start for them this year. Ooh,
3-1.
3-1 to start.
I'm gonna go 4-1. They're gonna be 4-1 after week 5 going into Green Bay.
Ooh.
They only lose to Denver.
Ooh, I'm giving them. I could go 3-1. I could see the L to Minnesota too, but I like a good start this year. I'll go 4-1. But they're at home versus Detroit. Actually, I'm leaning Detroit that game. But we still got 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at 6 by the bye week.
Yeah. 6 and 3.
6 by the bye week. Yeah, I'm giving them 6 by the bye week.
Yeah.
6. And then coming out the bye week at Pittsburgh.
7.
Oh, you're giving them the Pittsburgh week? All right.
Yeah, I think this will be the Tomlin year where he scrapes that 500. Yes, Aaron Rodgers is there, but I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers, bro. You should have retired 2 years ago after you tore your Achilles.
Interesting.
But I think they find a way to win that Pittsburgh game.
All right. And New England looking for revenge at home against New England last year. Who beat them.
They're losing against New England. I don't care how hot they are. They're losing to New England. They're going to lose to
blood
New England.
Against the Pats. They want that back in blood, and I get it. Drake May, Big Draco coming up there. All right.
Drake May throwing for 400 that game.
Yeah, Big Draco in the chats, man. Yeah, Big Drake coming up there. They want it out for blood. That's going to be a 45-42 game. All right, Buffalo, Baltimore. That is a stretch. Wow, that is a stretch.
Baltimore, Buffalo, Baltimore, Miami. In Miami. They'll go 2-2.
It's crazy. They got 2 flex games to end the year.
Ew. Damn.
So I'm going to go 12 ceiling.
Yeah. I'm at a 12 ceiling. That's exactly what I was about to say.
12 ceiling,
9 floor.
Cool. Glad we agree on that. 12 ceiling, 9 floor.
That'll be good enough to have them finish number 2.
Yep. All right. That's our ceiling and our floor for the Cincinnati Bengals. Still in a 12, floor of 9. On to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mr. 500, Mike Tomlin, A. Ron, DK Metcalf in the building. TJ Watt wants some monies. Big breakout year for the Calvin Austin Truthers. Caleb Johnson going to come in and do what Najee did. God, I had so much hope in Trey Sermon. Shout out to uh, Independence legend Skylar Thompson, Fort Osage graduate, state champion from my local area. Yeah, big shout out to the legend over there.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'm booing Skylar
um,
Thompson, the
and
Miami Dolphin.
yeah, and then let's go ahead and toot our horn. We told y'all we came up here years ago and we told people stop pushing Kyle Pitts higher up, and we said we would take Fryermuth over Kyle Pitts. People called us stupid. People called us dumb. And look at you now. Move. So thank you, Pat Fryermuth, for making us look well. We appreciate you, brother. Fryermuth jerseys in the chat. Big Troy getting that right tackle. Zach Frazier, center. McCormick, Isaac, Broderick. Really like what they got going on the O-line. You know what I'm saying? Really
Breakout
like
year
what they
for
got.
Jalen Warren, man. RB1.
Big Jalen chat. Looking for a real big year from him this year. I want to see 15 of them things.
Yeah.
15.
Those of you in fantasy, man, if you can grab him in the 5th or 6th round, he gonna be there. People gonna sleep on him. Go ahead and draft him. If you can get him if you can get him in round 5, steal. You can get him in round 4. That's about appropriate.
The real question is, who's QB2? Will Howard or Mason Rudolph? Can Mason, the lifelong Steeler, lose his job to Will Howard and now make Will Howard the new lifelong Steeler? That's the question.
Yes.
So that's gonna be funny. Friend of the evening, Kenneth Gainwell, making his way over to the Steelers.
Kenny G.
Yeah, Kenny G's in the chat. All right, let's have a look at the defense just so I can get a reminder here. Big Derek Harmon. Big dog Derek Harmon. Keanu, Ward, TJ. That's going to be a deadly front. Player to watch off rip. Peyton Wilson. I think that brother is the ceiling of this defense and what he can become. Deuce is still mad we didn't draft that guy. I think Peyton Wilson. I think if I don't know if I'm putting it a little too high here, but I think if he can become like that level, and we look at Queen like still there, and Peyton can kind of jump his way up there, I think that's going to go a long way for that defense. I think the ceiling of that defense is based on Peyton Willis and what he becomes. Joey Porter Jr., big stock into the brother. I loved him coming out of the draft. I'm hoping to see if Slay, with this addition of Slay and Minka, what Porter does, man. I want to see him push his name towards the top. And big dog Jack Sawyer, my guy coming over, who's just gonna be a honorary Steeler for life over there.
Jack Sawyer.
So yeah, again roster wise, not too many complaints. Secondary wise, again, I think the secondary is gonna go off the back of like what I think Joey Porter can be. So I feel like off rip for me, Joey Porter and Peyton Wilson are my two players to watch on the defense because I think both of them have a higher ceiling to them and what they could be, and if they become that, this defense gets nasty.
One of the things I was concerned for me, I always watch former Eagle players and then Eagles players, obviously, seeing what Darius Slay was saying about that locker room and about that organization. He was just like, and I'm not used to this. He was like, players fighting on the field, and then they just walked off the field and left practice, and we kept practicing like they wasn't a part of it. He was like, I don't know. There's just some discipline missing over here. That, to me, is a red flag, especially for a Mike Tomlin-led team.
Yeah.
Coming from Darius Slay, who's played in Detroit, who played in Philly, now playing in Pittsburgh, same state, different city. Obviously, I'm not going to put too much stock in that, but that's something that I'm going to be watching for sure. Key player for me on defense is going to be Joey Porter for sure. And Patrick Queen, man. Patrick Queen, I think, left a little bit on the table last year. Obviously, he left his interdivision team, the Ravens, to go join the Steelers. And he was probably looking over there at the Ravens like, man, can y'all come back and get me, please?
Yeah.
Can y'all come
Yeah.
and get me, please?
Yeah.
Those two are going to be my key players on defense. I'm going to be watching Daniel Ekuale too, especially knowing Cam Hayward getting up there in age. They brought Ekuale over there to come and hopefully fill some of that and take some of that off of Cam Hayward's plate. And then obviously, man, Jalen Warren's going to be someone I'm watching. Breakout year. He had a hell of a year last year splitting carries with Najee. To be able to split carries with Najee and almost have damn near the same numbers. Obviously, he's a little bit better out of the backfield receiver-wise. I think he's a better blocker, too, on passing downs. So, hopefully we see a breakout year from him. Man. DK Metcalf about to have 150 targets this year.
Yeah. DK gonna get that rock.
Aaron Rodgers gonna spam the hell out of DK. So if you can grab DK, if you got DK Metcalf last year and you was disappointed like
Random
I was,
Scotty Miller touchdowns.
Random Scotty Miller touchdowns.
Scotty doesn't know.
if you got DK Metcalf last year in fantasy, you was disappointed like I was because I got him in like the third, fourth round. You could take him same spot this year and get way better production because he got Aaron Rodgers. That's all I'm saying.
Scotty doesn't know. Yes.
We might see some Skwarnik touchdowns, some gadget plays.
Yeah. Roman Wilson, though. And there's some like supporting cast guys, Roman Wilson, Calvin Austin, that just is gonna make it fun. But let's pull up Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron. You say he should have retired 2 years ago. I said Aaron just living off vibes. That brother is chilling. My stance and my position with Pittsburgh is because Aaron's there and because Tomlin has just kind of consistently been who he is, if they have to win a playoff game this year, like that's where I'm at with them, is they have to win a playoff game this year. So where are you at with Aaron? You said that you want them to bomb out, so I'm not gonna pick them to win a playoff game, like not right now, but that's my standard. Is like I feel like to make this successful as a season and make the move justified, they have to win a playoff game this year.
I agree. I don't want them to bomb out. I just think I'm sick of Aaron Rodgers. I just have Aaron Rodgers fatigue, bro. Like seems like the last 4 years with Green Bay, his last year, he did the same thing. Let me wait it out, see what I'm gonna do. Come back, be MVP, cool. Now I'm gonna go leave to the Jets, tear my Achilles, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna wait to the very beginning of the season and then tell them, all right, guys, I'm back. Let's do it. He did the same thing to the Steelers. Like, come on, man. Like, you're not like that to be able to have everybody waiting on you like that. Granted, the Steelers pretty much threw out the red carpet when they let Justin Fields walk and when they let Russ walk, to where their only option was either Mason Rudolph or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
and
I'm holding Tomlin very accountable to that because last year, Fields did good, Russ came in, and I don't feel like they kind of still kept the same level of play, and they ended where they did, but the fact that both of them left, I was like that kind of gave me a little bit of a bad taste with Tomlin and how he handled that, because I felt like the change to Russ should have been like, it's the change to get us to win these games, and I don't feel like the end product justified it, especially since they both left.
Yeah.
And they were kind of living off the whim of like you said perfectly, it's Mason or Aaron, So yeah, but with Aaron coming, that's where I'm at. I feel like if they don't win a playoff game this year, a big change is going to be made.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to start looking at putting Tomlin in the hot seat. We talked last year about Shanahan potentially being in the hot seat, but we gave him grace. Having injuries across the board, having to deal with what he was dealing with. We gave him a little bit of grace. This year he'll probably be on the hot seat, depending on how they start. We'll get there. But I think eventually we have to look at Mike Tomlin and say, look, man, back to back years, you get to the playoffs and you disappoint.
Yeah.
Right now, over 500 as your career is it's not good enough. We're not going to be okay with that anymore.
Yeah, Tomlin's on that seat for me, man. again, I think we all know he's a good coach and it's gonna make that work, but he's dangerously closer to that line of becoming the line. We've always kept Tomlin at least higher up in our rankings, and we have told you, like we talked about it, we had to drop him down a little bit. Like, hey man, like you're starting to get closer than the line than becoming in the tier because this is where we see you constantly sitting at.
Yeah.
And brother just might be melanated Mike McCarthy at the end of the day.
That's
You know, quarterback,
crazy.
yeah, like with the quarterback struggles. You know, like we give Dak his respect. You know, but we know you got some quarterback troubles, Tomlin, but both of y'all got them things early and kind of just been cruise controlling
Hey,
it.
you know what's
You know,
crazy? In my mind, the exact equivalent person player wise I was thinking about was Dak Prescott. You do
yeah,
your
like
damn thing in the regular season, man. You put
yeah,
it up. But then come
like
playoff
just
time and then you turn into
yeah,
something whole
it's
different.
not. Yeah, like again, you know, I'm trying to protect my brothers too, but they got to get the smoke too. Like, brother, it's we know you're a good coach, but you're closer to the line than you are of the elites now, and we can't have that be. We can't have that be. Floor ceiling, the floor and the ceiling for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 1 at New York, the Aaron Rodgers revenge game. I'm giving them that mainly because I'm not going against Tomlin. At home versus Seattle,
I
it's
think
a
they win
Sam
that game.
Darnold. Yeah, that's a Sam Darnold game. That's 2-0. At New England, Mike Vrabel, Big Draco, Stephon Diggs.
I think they win that game.
All right, 3-0. Woo. Or 3-1 or 4-0 at the bye week.
They're gonna be in
This
another
is an
country. This is a
overseas
Germany
game.
game. Oh no,
Early
man.
JJ McCarthy.
Those ones are up in the air to me.
I'm gonna put that on the toss up. So let's just say 3-1 at the bye week.
Yeah.
Say we're looking at 3-1 at the bye week. Coming out the bye week. Home versus Cleveland. Dubs.
Or
We gave you this. You gave him a split with Cleveland, right?
nah, yes. We gave them a split with Cleveland.
All right, cool. So we'll give him a split with Cleveland. Bang. At Cincinnati, L.
Hell.
Green Bay. Green Bay L.
At home, I kinda like Green Bay in this one.
All right, because I still feel like that 3 game stretch between Green Bay, Indy, and Chargers is like a difficult stretch.
Yeah. I
So yeah,
like
we'll
Green
give him that.
Bay.
But they come out.
I have them beating Indianapolis and then I have them losing to Los Angeles
Okay,
Chargers.
cool. So we're at 3, 4, 5, 6. Down to Cincinnati. At Cincinnati, dub. That's at home. At Chicago, later in the year, they might be getting some things rolling. I'll give them the dub though. Ben Johnson lesson. Um, versus Buffalo. Don't like that matchup. At Baltimore, you giving them the split or sweep of Baltimore?
Nah, I think Baltimore might sweep them.
All right, big sweeps because they get that last game of the year too. So you know, depending on how things look. Versus Miami, I'll give them that at
At
home.
home,
In
yeah, I'll
fact,
give them that. Miami's gonna be Miami in a cold game in the winter. Until they break
I'll
that, I'm gonna continue to believe it.
I'm giving Detroit that game, and
Yeah.
then like I said, we'll just lean sweep with Baltimore. Um, we gave Baltimore this, yeah, we'll just lean sweep with Baltimore. Vegas swept. We'll just go that way.
Does that give them 10?
Nah, you know what? I'm gonna give them the split with Baltimore. That's okay. I'm gonna give them the split with Baltimore. They do be playing club and beat 50. I'm gonna give them the split.
They ain't got
All
Justin
right.
Tucker no more to bail them out, bro.
Yeah, they ain't got big dog Tucker. But also, I'm just trying to think too. Like, what if that last game of the year, Ravens is, you know, what I'm saying
Yeah,
they're
that's
still
true.
on same pace, and they're just like, oh, we're cool, we're on to it. I have to consider that with the Ravens. So yeah, still looking at ceiling 11.
11.
Yeah,
One more game than I had them at. I had a 10-game ceiling, but I'm cool with
ceiling
that.
11, 8 floor.
Yeah. Yeah. 8 puts them just under 500.
Yeah, ceiling 11, 8 floor. All right, that's where I'm at. 8 floor, 11 ceiling, still leaning closer to 9. So,
Cool.
all right, let's get on to our final team, the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to be extremely quick because
Yeah.
great quarterback, great coach, great organization, automatically doing nothing but winning. Just today, signed Alexander. Can you go to the secondary, please, and show the secondary? Alexander, Humphrey, Wiggins, Hamilton, Starks.
That's a hell of a sec. That's
1 to 5. That's the best secondary in the NFL to me.
hands down.
You know,
Hands down.
and
Ain't even
people are
played the
gonna
snap
come
yet.
up here. Yeah, and people are gonna come up here and talk about Alexander's injury history, which is cool. But they still got TJ Tampa and Owuzie in behind that. You know what I'm saying? So that is top to bottom 1 through 5. Best secondary in the NFL. They should be extremely stingy. Mike Green later in the draft, fire. We know what they do. They as long as he keeps his head down and they'll get him right, he's cool. I'm still holding on to David Ajabo stock because I still feel so bad for him and kind of how his draft stock and where that went. Still holding on to David Ajabo stock. Baltimore secondary is ridiculous. I am holding Baltimore to the standard. I don't want to overdo nothing with them. You have to win the AFC. That is my standard for you. Baltimore needs to be in the Super Bowl this year. I'm coming up here and I'm saying bad things about them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally Super Bowl or bust for them.
Like other years, I was like, just get to the championship game. I am now putting my stock. I'm planting my flag because I'm going against the norm of Pat and Andy. Baltimore needs to win the AFC, and I'm going to plant my flag and say I'm picking you now to win the AFC. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, not clearly winning, but y'all have to win. It's a must-win situation. Let's look at this, y'all. If y'all are watching this, let's look at this. Your front seven: Nnamdi Madubuike, Roderick Washington, Travis Jones is what it is, Kyle Van Noy, Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Odafe Owe. Then you get to the back end: Nate Williams, Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Stark, Jair Alexander, Marlon Humphrey, TJ Tampa.
And Owuzie's behind that.
Owuzie. Y'all aren't just the best secondary. You're probably the deepest secondary in the NFL.
Stupid.
Right? Like the next best, obviously I'm gonna be an Eagles fan and say that the Eagles fan is probably second, clearly second. Not close second to this. After y'all signed Jair Alexander, pushing Owuzie to the bench, yeah, clearly y'all are the best secondary in the game today.
That's crazy.
Now y'all just got to put that together. I know, like you said, folks are concerned about Jair Alexander's injury history. I don't think he got to worry about that now. He's not CB1. He's not following around the AJ Browns, the Jerry Judys. He's not following around the DK Metcalfs. You have a former team's cornerback 1, now your cornerback 2, who's locking up all of the second best receivers on every team. And then you have Kyle Hamilton behind you and Malachi Stark on the other side.
Versatility is crazy.
I don't know. Y'all better be able to run the ball in the AFC North. Like that's all I gotta say.
The versatility is crazy. It really is. That is just an insane secondary in defense. Can you go to the offense, please? Oh, Lamar gonna do what Lamar gonna do. Derrick Henry gonna do what Derrick Henry gonna do. Rashad Bateman done got some bread. Zay Flowers, knick-knack things, keeping them in and out. D-Hop over, Big Dog Andrews, and Isaiah Likely. And never forget the legend that is Patrick Ricard, man. Hall of Famer on the way.
Oh, no, this brother keeps a job over there.
Yeah. Big Hall of Famers in the chat for Patrick, man. Lindenbaum, Tyler, up there with the elites. Again, this team to me, and the legend that is Cooper Rush has a backup, you know what I'm saying, just in case. So this team, man, again, key players for me, the sovereignty of God and health. Because like outside of, as long as you're healthy, you should keep your 12 wins. You better be in the AFC Championship game, and I'm holding you to winning that game. Like, that's where I'm at. I'm sorry, y'all. There's no more in-depth you can get when you're up there. You gonna meet the moment, win the moment, or we just gonna start to call y'all bad names. Well, we not. Like, we will start. I haven't been calling out bad names, but come on, man. We was mad at Roquan, boy. Roquan in that damn game that couple years ago that against the
All
Chiefs,
pro
boy. He pissed us
Roquan.
off. Yeah.
All pro
Roquan was pissing us
Roquan.
off, man. But yeah, Baltimore better win the AFC, and I'm planting my flag. I am picking them to win the AFC.
Hey
That's where I'm
man,
at.
key players ain't even a player. To me, the key is gonna come down to Mr. Harbaugh. What are you
Mr.
gonna
Harbaugh.
do when you get to the playoffs? Not if y'all are gonna wake up to 5 wins to start the season. Like it's not that hard to look at. We're not even gonna. We can look at the schedule, but
Nah, I ain't doing no
like,
floor ceiling for them. I'm
nah.
sorry, y'all. Y'all ain't getting no floor ceiling. Y'all ain't getting none of
Y'all gonna
that.
wake up to 5 wins, bro. Y'all gonna walk into the bye week. What week is y'all bye week? I'm gonna look just for myself. Y'all bye
I don't
week
even want
is
to look. They don't get no ceiling floor.
week
We
7.
know what y'all ceiling floor is.
Week 7, y'all better walk into the bye week already number 1 in the AFC North and already ready to go and make a statement. If y'all don't do that, throw the whole team away.
Throw them away. I want everybody fired. That's it.
Derrick
That's
Henry,
it. That's
he
why I'm
gonna
at
have
Baltimore.
another 1,800 plus rushing season.
Facts. Sorry,
Easy.
Baltimore fans. If you wanted like in-depth stuff, y'all better win, bro. Cause y'all got it. You got the juice. Win, bro. Win it.
This is probably
You're gonna get
one of
through
the
that.
best rosters in the NFL today.
Yeah.
Not just in the
Win it.
AFC, in the NFL.
Y'all got the damn juice. Y'all got the juice. Y'all got the juice, man. Just you've been there. Like if you go back, you can look at, the down games from Lamar in the playoffs. You can look at the bad moments in the Chiefs game, the fumble and the pick in the end zone, you know what I'm saying, against that one. Losing the Buffalo game. Like there's been those moments where we know you guys can get there and you can be there. And for the first time in all those years when we were like, this team should be in the AFC Championship game, this is the team that I'm looking like if you don't make the AFC Championship game and if you don't win the AFC, it's a problem. Like that to me is where I'm at with y'all. It was you guys should be there. Now to me, if you don't do it and you don't win it, there's a problem. And I don't want that problem to come down to a Lamar or Harbaugh issue because they are still two of the top 3 in both of their, ish positions. We've been a little harder on Harbaugh, but these are still 2 of the elites at what they do at the most important parts, man.
Early Super Bowl
So,
favorites, man.
Baltimore
Early
fans,
Super Bowl favorites should be
yeah,
Baltimore.
facts.
TTE Super Bowl favorites is going to be Baltimore. We'll get
It's
to the
going to be
NFC when we
Baltimore,
get
man.
there, but out of the
Facts.
AFC, Baltimore early Super Bowl favorites. Y'all should be there.
So yeah, y'all probably got a 7-minute video on y'all's, but y'all should be in there winning. You know what I'm saying? We're tired. I'm sorry. Y'all should just be in there winning. You know what I'm saying? You want to hear a long rant of hope? Come in a couple weeks when I talk about my Panthers and tell you every ways that we should win 14 games. I should tell y'all 2 ways that y'all should win 12. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna give you the most creative ways that a guy who hasn't went over 500 should win 13 games this year. You know what I'm saying? So if you want some more creativity and hope, come holla at me in a couple weeks when we talk about my team.
And
With y'all,
NFC South, y'all. NFC South.
yeah. With y'all, if you aren't in the AFC Championship game, World War III better have happened, and some other things better have started to where y'all shouldn't be there. There's no reason you shouldn't be there. And like Soy said, the Super Bowl favorites out of the AFC, straight up. And we haven't done that during the whole Pat era. We've said teams should be up there. They can contend. They can even win. This is the first time that I feel there's a team who they should be like, no, this is the best team going into this.
Roster top to bottom, from coach down to your fullback, all the way down to your safety.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, front to back, as an organization, there is no reason why y'all should not win the AFC.
Oh yeah,
None.
we had the hot take. Put the hot take on it. DJ Moore is gonna be a Raven at some point this year. Yeah, I'll put that hot take on there because I know he's from Maryland. They eventually try to get him back. They probably ain't going. We'll see what they do about that money, but we'll just throw out that random hot take. DJ Moore will eventually be a Raven. So yeah. Any final thoughts on the AFC North before we get up out of here?
My dark horse is going to be the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah, it's just we all know if the Bengals get in the party, they're gonna wreck it somehow. So it's just the fact that you just hope that they don't get into the party. That's all. Thank y'all for watching, being with us. Again, the date of this is June 18th. and we're hoping that World War III hasn't started and nothing else has drastically changed, and all is well. Thank y'all for rocking with us. The next time you see us, we will be in Soy's Hood, talking about the NFC East Super Bowl champs with the Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, and Giants. We'll be heading that way the next time you see us. Keep tabs with us. We are, again, if there's a part of the year we don't miss, it's this. So thank y'all for rocking with us, and we are out. Vita, soy sauce, we gone.